What's going on, guys? What's up? It's Matt Thornsberry with this week's edition of Big 12 Blitz. Thank you guys for being here. Another crazy week in the Big 12. And I'm looking forward to what we got going on this week in the Big 12. I don't even know what to think of some of these teams. I mean, when we get to the predictions in today's show, I'm not too confident in some of these predictions. So I don't know, man. If you guys can for me, I'm doing a new setup today. If you can throw in the comments a thumbs up or something to let me know that you can hear me, I would greatly appreciate it because, like I said, I got a new setup going, so I need to know that you guys can hear me. And once we get that going, I will go ahead and roll into the show. But first, I'm going to need some comments in here to tell me if you guys can hear me. So just let me know. Okay, perfect, Matt. Hey, Matt, nice to have you back, man. Hey, buddy, been a crazy time here lately with that storm that knocked our power out for 9 days. I hate to hear that, man. That really sucks. Prayers to you and prayers to everyone out there affected by the hurricanes. It's a crazy time we're living in. Just keep your eyes on Jesus, guys, because, man, it's rough out here. So prayers to you guys. I hope that everybody gets out of there protected and okay. It really sucks, man. If there's anything that I can do, just reach out to me and I would gladly be able to help you. But anyways, here we are, Matt's Big 12 Blitz. If you're new here, let me just tell you real quick what we do. I'm going to go over some games from last week, 5. I usually pick 5 games from the week before, and then we'll move forward to this week's games. And what some crazy games that we have had last week. Absolutely crazy. I mean, it made me, again, I've had 2 weeks in a row now where I've went 2-3 on my predictions because it's just been a crazy time, right? I don't think I feel like it's kind of always been that way with the Big 12. You just don't know in the Big 12 a lot of times. But we're getting to the part of the season where we're probably going to see some teams separating. We're going to start seeing, the top half of the Big 12 separate from the bottom half of the Big 12. Maybe. I've said it week to week that in the Big 12, you are prone to, no matter who you play, you're prone to losing. That's just how it's always been, and it probably isn't going to change anytime soon. Nonetheless, I am excited to get in the last week's games. Let's go ahead and hop into it right here. And before we get going into that, if you can, please, down below, if you see the thumbs up button, hit that for me. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much again for being in here. It's awesome. You guys don't know how much it means to me, really. I love doing this. I love talking sports. And yeah, it just means a ton to me for you guys being here and commenting and stuff. So that's another thing. Throw some comments in here. Talk to me. Speak to me. This is a discussion. We're speaking about, college football. We all love college football. And this is just a big discussion with you guys. We're going to enjoy it. That's what it's about. We like having fun. And hey, I know talking about Big 12 football is a lot of fun, especially with this week coming up here. So yeah, here we go. We're going to hop into it. The first game I want to talk about from last week is Texas Tech. Texas Tech surprising some people. A couple weeks ago, I had someone say that Matt said, I always do. I enjoy this. I appreciate it, Matt. I really do, man. But yeah, Texas Tech getting the win 28-22 over Arizona, moving to 5-1 on the season. Man, I was saying it there before I commented on Matt's comment. I had someone tell me a few weeks ago that they thought Texas Tech had turned things around. I mentioned it last week as well. Hey, I think so. You go and you beat Arizona 28-22. That's a big-time win for Texas Tech. I mean, especially I think Fafita is a good quarterback. And Matt said, boy, did Texas Tech fix their program or what? After that Washington State loss, they have stood tall. Texas Tech may win the Big 12. Yeah, man, you're right. You and whoever it was, it might have been you who even said that they turned their program around. You go back again, the last year, we always bring up this example of the Cowboys from last year. Their rough start and turning it around later on in the season. And of course, us West Virginia fans use that as an example. But give it to Texas Tech. You gotta put them in there because, dude, they are showing that they should be there. Now, I want to mention too, before the season started, preseason, I was saying that Texas Tech did really well in the portal. They did really well recruiting, and this is what I heard from Texas Tech fans. They did a really good job recruiting, and they were probably going to be really good this year. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I didn't know that, and I had Texas Tech low in the totem pole. Hey, and I got corrected. It happens. Oh well. And we're seeing that now, for them to be playing the way they are. They come out and move to 5-1. Brooks is just an absolute hoss. I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe he's had a game under 100 yards. I could be wrong. Maybe that game against Washington State he didn't. Let me go back and look real quick. Abilene Christian, 153 yards, 70. Oh, wow. Yeah. He didn't, did he not play? So he didn't play against Washington State. So I think, let's go to North Texas. They scored 66 points. Yeah, Brooks played in that game. Arizona State, 100, over 100. Cincinnati, over 100. Yeah, he has ran over 100 yards in every single game. And the only game he didn't play in, which was Washington State. So that might be a deciding factor right there. Maybe they don't have that loss if Brooks plays in that game. Granted, their defense still gave up 37 points, but what I like to say is sometimes a stale offense is the worst weakness for your defense. If you just keep going 3 and out, that's tough on your defense to continue getting stops. And that's a big deal for some coaches. They talk a lot about having more possessions. The more possessions an offense has is going to be the more that defense has to try to stop that offense. And when you have a guy like Brooks in your backfield, it's going to be a long day for your defense. So give it up to Texas Tech, man. Down there on the ticker, just real quick, I want to go through it. B. Morton, 17 to 29, 214 yards. No touchdowns, actually. Brooks, 21 carries, 128 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Arizona, Fafita, he's a good quarterback. He's been having a pretty good start to the season, but he threw 2 interceptions in this game, proved to be costly. Their running back, Conley, 14 carries, 97 yards, and a touchdown. Yep. So moving forward. Good on Texas Tech's part to get that going, moving to 5-1. Next, this surprised me. I say this every week, and I'm going to continue saying it. My surprises. UCF getting beat by in-state rival Florida, 24-13, which kind of makes me look a little bit silly because I did not expect UCF to get beat by Florida. Florida's had a kind of a rough start to the season, right? And I thought that Gus Malzahn had that team playing well. I thought Jefferson had been playing well to start the season. But, man, Florida had their number, right? And Matt said, I took Florida. Yeah, that's a good pick, man. What was your reasoning behind it, though? That's what I want to know. Because I haven't thought that Florida had been playing that well this year. And I thought UCF looked pretty good. Now, I don't know. Coach Malzahn has lost his team. A lot of players have transferred. Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. I still think that home, no respect, little brother. Yeah, you're right. And I should have took that into consideration. And I mentioned that it was at Florida. That was even one of my key factors for UCF was that if they could get this win in Florida, no matter how bad Florida did this year, it's still tough to go into Florida and get that win. And they just couldn't do it. And I mean, makes sense, right? It's hard to go into the swamp and get a win, especially over a rival. So, yeah, UCF dropping to 3-2. Both teams 3-2 now, but still a big win for Florida. Anytime you beat a rival, unfortunately, West Virginia didn't do that against Pitt. Anytime you beat a rival, it's going to be a good day. But yeah, Jefferson 12 of 22, 165 yards and an interception. Harvey 16 carries, 75 yards and a touchdown. So, man. Matt said, in UCF lost to Colorado. Yeah, but Colorado's looking pretty good. I think Colorado's looking better than most people expected them to be. But we're going to get to that. We're going to get to their game here in just a second. Hold on. Okay. Matt said, if WVU beat Pitt, this could have been a real special season. Yeah, that was a tough loss, man. That really took the wind out of WVU. Yeah. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it rolling. Next game. Poor Kansas, man. I feel bad for Kansas. I thought that this last week's game was going to be a turnaround game for them. I really did. And it just didn't happen. I picked them to win that game. I picked them. Matt said Kansas is done. Yeah, I believe so. Unfortunately for them. Antoine said, "Are UCF and Florida rivals? No one considers them rivals except UCF fans." Yeah, I know. UCF fans are really the only ones who consider them rivals, and that's why I still say it. But whatever. Maybe they're not. I'll give it to the UCF fans. Maybe they are. So yeah, but yeah, Kansas looks defeated. You're right, Matt. They look like their season might continue to go downhill. Unfortunate for them, because to have the season they did last year, I mean, they really thought that, and they're not the only ones, right? Kansas fans are not the only ones that felt like they were going to have a special season. There were a lot of experts, put in quotation marks, that thought Kansas was going to be a Big 12 contender this year. So their fans aren't the only one. You got to feel bad for them. All the, I want to say, I don't want to be too critical on them. I don't like, saying a lot of bad things about teams, but they had those years, what was it, like 10 years where they just were not good. It was tough for them to even get 4 or 5 wins on the season. And so when you see them have a season like they did last year, it's just tough, man. So I feel bad for them, but got to give credit to Arizona State. They're moving to 4-1 after they were picked to be in the bottom half of the Big 12. So give it up to Arizona State. That quarterback, how do you say his name? Leave it, something like that. Somebody can correct me on that. Matt said that Kansas WU game was the dagger. One went up, one went down. Yeah. And a lot of people knew that as well, right? People said that whoever would correct their wrongs in this game would probably turn their season around. That was a big game for both teams. And nothing, you see it, right? So that Kansas WU game really did boost WU. Yeah, absolutely. It was a big game for both schools. And you're completely right. Antoine said, y'all don't know Arizona State yet. That's okay. Big 12 thinks Arizona plays good football. Arizona State runs the ball and plays defense and recruits better. Yeah, I think Arizona State is surprising a lot of people. They were picked to be in the bottom. They might have been picked last. Were they picked last, or was BYU picked last? Man, that's all I know is that's 2 years in a row now that the Big 12 has tried to predict teams. Like last season, they predicted West Virginia to be last, and West Virginia ends up going, 9-3. And now you look forward to this year, they picked Arizona State and BYU to be the bottom of the conference. Not the case at all. Looks really bad on their part. So, yeah, give it up to Arizona State. Leave it 14-24, 157 yards, 4 touchdowns on 14 completions. That's amazing. Scatabo, is that how you say it? 25 carries, 182 yards, and a touchdown. Tyson, 6 receptions, 76 yards, 2 touchdowns. Daniels, though, I will say this. Daniels played a pretty good game, which is it looks good for Kansas. They've been looking for Daniels to kind of turn things around, right? Their defense was playing good. It's so crazy. Their defense was playing good. They just needed Daniels to turn things around. And then he comes into this game and goes 18 to 31, 260 yards, 2 touchdowns. And their defense gives up 35 points. And they were winning. If you watch this game, Kansas was winning, and Arizona State was, inside the 5-yard line with how much time? 20 seconds to go, I think. So, yeah. Arizona, Utah was most people's number 1 in the Big 12, Jonathan Brinegar said. Utah does look very strong. They're a big problem if they are not your team. Yeah, if they have Cam Rising. Now, I don't know, is Cam Rising back yet? If Wilson is playing, I mean, Wilson's good, but now he's not good enough to win the conference for Utah. But he's still good enough to win them plenty of games, but not the title, not the Big 12 title, I don't think. Cam Rising is done for the year. Oof. See, I don't think Cam Rising. If they don't have Cam Rising, they're not going to be Big 12. Utah looks like everyone else now. Yes, absolutely. I agree, Matt. They are in a position now where I kind of think the Big 12 is still wide open. BYU, of course, still looks amazing. K-State still looks really good. Utah will lose 1 or 2 more games for sure, Matt says. Yeah, it's a wide open race still, especially after that. John says, where is Kuz? Cam had been named the starter for – oh, okay. No. Cam had been named the starter for Saturday. Okay, cool. I hadn't seen that, so I apologize. I didn't know. That's why I was asking. I didn't know if Cam Rising was playing or not. So Antoine even said, I thought Cam was playing. So, yeah, if Cam Rising's playing, that team is your Big 12 contender for sure. So, yeah. Kuz said, this is a new show on my channel. Yeah. So, Jeff, this is a new show on the channel. We're going to have Kuz on here eventually. He might. Hey, if he wants, he can hop in here right now. But, yeah, he said he was going to be on here from time to time. So, but nonetheless, he asked me to come on here and do this show, and we've been doing it. So, but yeah, Arizona State, let's continue to move forward. We're kind of getting off track a little bit. Arizona State getting the win over Kansas. They moved to 4-1. Kansas drops to 1-5. Man, let's push it on. Moving forward. Next game. This one, I just want to talk about it real quick because it'll make sense. Iowa State, staying undefeated, moved to 5-0 on the season, getting a win over Baylor, 43-21. And it was just a game that Iowa State needed to get the win. It would have been real bad if they would have lost that game, especially coming into Morgantown this week. So as Iowa State fans, as a Cyclone fan, you wanted to win that game. As a Mountaineer fan, we wanted them to win that game because now they're coming into Morgantown undefeated. And if you watched my first show this year, you know that I said Iowa State could very well be undefeated going into Morgantown. I called that, and I said it would be a huge game if they came into Morgantown undefeated. And sure enough, here we are. We've been looking for it. We've been looking forward to it. And how perfect is that? West Virginia naming it their Coal Rush game, the Riot Bowl, and Iowa State's about to go into Morgantown undefeated. It's going to be awesome. So, yeah, undefeated Iowa State gets a much-needed win over Baylor to stay undefeated. And I say much-needed because it's a game they should have won, right? So they dropped Baylor to 2-4. Yeah, fantastic for the Big 12, fantastic for West Virginia. You love to see it. And real quick, I'll just go over the ticker. If you look at the ticker at the bottom, we'll have the stats scrolling across. Beck, if you know, his father played at West Virginia, 16-25, 277 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Jackson, 15 carries, 107 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Higgins, 8 receptions, 116 yards, 1 touchdown. And then you go over to Baylor side, Robertson, 25-44, 258 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Jackson Jr., 5 receptions, 66 yards, and a touchdown. So good on Iowa State's part to stay undefeated. Good for them. They get the win 43-24, 43-21 over Baylor. Keep it right on rolling. West Virginia. I'm going to be honest with you, I did not expect this. West Virginia moves to 3-2. They get above 500. We were wondering how they were going to respond after moving to 500 on the season, especially going into Oklahoma State and playing. It's tough to go into Oklahoma State and get a win over Mike Gundy. But give it to West Virginia. Give props to their defense for, I want to say, playing on Oklahoma State's weaknesses. And their weaknesses, right? Everyone knows Bowman is having a really tough time right now. He's throwing multiple interceptions in the last few games. His accuracy is really doing them in right now. And West Virginia did what they needed to do. They played on Alan Bowman's weaknesses and absolutely pounded the Cowboys. And their defense was having. That's another thing. West Virginia playing to the weakness of Oklahoma State. They have struggled on defense against the run, and boy, did West Virginia take advantage of that. Didn't West Virginia have over 300 yards rushing in that game? Hold on. Yeah, 389 yards West Virginia come away with in that game. Whew, that's rough. Almost 400 yards. But as you said, man, Matt, they've been struggling on defense all season. And it's good to see the Mountaineers go in and play on the weaknesses of the team. You know, it's been a rough start to the season to see teams take advantage of West Virginia's weaknesses on defense, right? And so seeing the flip side of that for West Virginia was good to see. West Virginia moving to 3-2 on the year, getting the win over Oklahoma State 38-14, dropping the Oklahoma State to 500, 3-3 on the season. So good for the Mountaineers. All right. Now, this is where it gets fun. Talking about, I forgot. You can see the stats there at the bottom. I think what's really impressive about this is you look at those stats, and it's just insane to look at those running numbers, those numbers on the ground. Even GG getting out there. And we knew, right? We knew all season that I'd been saying it week to week. If Garrett Green just utilized his strengths, which is his feet, right? If he just utilized his feet, it would open up this offense to a whole nother level. And again, playing to the weakness of Oklahoma State's defense. You got 3 guys in that backfield, GG, Jaheim White, and CJ Donaldson, that if you don't know who's going to get the ball, and I mean, granted, even I don't want to say this, but even for the Cowboys, for them, it's been tough because even if they know who's getting the ball, they've still had a tough time trying to stop it. But you don't know who's getting the ball in that backfield. And it just makes that that's a 3-headed dragon back there, dude. And you got speed in Jaheim and GG, and CJ's fast to be how big he is. But, dude, you add him in there, and oh my gosh, dude, he puts his pads down and just runs over people. Speaking of which, what a job by Nico, right? Has anybody commented that? What about Nico? Somebody give props to Nico in the comments. Dude laid the boom against Oklahoma State as a quarterback. But it's like people said. I heard several people say he looks like a linebacker, doesn't he? He kind of looks like a linebacker. But gosh, what a run, dude. Killing it. Absolutely killing it. But yeah, so West Virginia getting the win over Oklahoma State, 38-14. Good for them. Good stuff. All right, let's move forward to this week's games. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm not looking forward to my predictions. Not at all. What was I? I was I was like 11-2 or 12-2 on my picks. And the last 2 weeks have just absolutely killed me on my record. It is what it is. It's just that's what happens in the Big 12. All right, the first game we're going to talk about is UCF 3-2 UCF versus 3-2 Cincinnati. That will be Saturday at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time on ESPN2. Matt said, "I'm going to help you. We're going to do this together." Yeah, hey man, I was supposed to. I haven't sent my prediction in for the West Virginia game yet because I just don't know yet. I don't know. I'm having a tough time with all the games right now after last week and the week before. But of course, as the last 2 games, at the end here, we're going to go over my predictions and we'll see where I'm at. So yeah. Thunder OU Sooner said, congratulations, West Virginia. Making Mike Gundy look like a fool. A lot of OK State fans want Mike Gundy gone. OU broke OK State by going to the SEC. Maybe so, man. Maybe so. Everybody's record went down on predictions. Yeah, everyone's records went down on predictions for sure. Yeah. He could run over the leading tackle in the Power 4. Yeah. It was a big mistake that Mike Gundy did not make Oklahoma State OU permanent opponents non-conference because Oklahoma State does not have nothing to look forward to anymore. I don't know, man. I mean, you still got the Big 12 title game to look forward to. And if you're Mike Gundy, I mean, I think Mike Gundy, of course, every coach in the Big 12 plays for the Big 12 title game, but I think Mike Gundy takes pride in making it to the Big 12 title game. He's your old school, college coach, and I think that he takes pride in that. So it sucks because they've had a lot of seasons here the last, I would say, about 10 years that they've had high hopes, and there's just been very important games throughout the season that they have let slip through and lose, and it's just went downhill from there. And I know you guys have seen that, and so yeah, it's unfortunate for them. So, anyways, UCF versus Cincinnati. I'm interested in seeing this game because I want to see how UCF responds, and I want to see how Cincinnati responds. I was looking at Cincinnati's schedule earlier, and I was going over it. I'm going to it right now. They beat Towson 38-20. They got beat by Pitt 28-27. They beat Miami of Ohio 27-16. They beat Houston 34-0. And then they got beat barely by Texas Tech 44-41 at Texas Tech too. So I've been trying to look at those and decide what this game is going to look like for Cincinnati. Because, of course, again, they're playing a UCF team that just lost to Florida, and not a very good Florida team. So I don't know how each team is going to react in this game, because now hopefully UCF doesn't take that loss to Florida and turn it into 2 losses. But again, I mean, it's the same thing on Cincinnati's side, right? Losing to Texas Tech. You don't want to see them keep rolling or keep tumbling down and turn 1 loss against Texas Tech into 2 losses. So I think this is going to be a really good game between 2 teams who are trying not to lose 2 in a row. And I love games like that. I love watching games where 2 teams are coming off of a loss, because typically you see a very good game and you see 2 teams that are ready to play and they really want to win. And so I'm excited to watch that game specifically for that. Jonathan said UCF 31, Cincinnati 28. I think that's a solid prediction. It's at UCF too, so keep that in mind. Matt said Cincy is scrappy as hell, but I believe that Texas Tech loss took something out of them. Yeah, I do too. I believe it took a little bit out of them, especially again losing that close. But I don't know because it was at Texas Tech, so it doesn't sting that much, right? Like if it was a home loss to Texas Tech that close, I believe it probably takes the wind out of them even more. But it's an away game, and you almost get out of there with a win. So you know, maybe not. I think it's going to be a really, really good game. A battle of 3-2s. They're both sitting at 3-2 on the season. If you look down there, Bet US has the line at UCF 3.5. The over under 58.5. Should be a very good game. It's going to be 3:30 at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time on ESPN2 on Saturday. So excited to watch that game. Give me everyone who's watching right now, just throw some predictions in the comments. I'm not going to steal your predictions. Just throw some predictions in there. I want to see what you guys think. Do you think Cincinnati bounces back from the loss, or do you think UCF bounces back from the loss? That's what we're really looking at here, is who doesn't want to lose 2 in a row. That's what we want to know. So, yeah, throw some predictions in here, you guys. Throw them in here. Matt said it's another dogfight Big 12 game. So I believe that's a coin flip fist fight in the phone booth and the home team wins. Yeah, man. It's a tough one to predict on. If I'm a betting man, I'm not betting on this game because I have no clue. Jonathan said UCF last second field goal. I do think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think it's going to be a lot like the Cincinnati-Texas Tech game and the Pitt-Cincinnati game. I think it's going to be a lot like that. And if, we'll see. We'll see. Let's move on. Let's keep it rolling, shall we? Next game. Big game here. The thing with this one, I'm going to throw it up on here, and then I'm going to throw the ticker on. I want you guys to know I went to look for the spread on Bet US, and I couldn't find this game. I was scrolling. I'm sorry. It's 4-1 Arizona State versus number 16, 4-1 Utah, which will be tomorrow night at 10:30 Eastern Time on ESPN. I couldn't find this game on Bet US. I tried. I tried sorting them differently. I couldn't find it, so I had to put ESPN's on here. Sorry, Coos. I'll delete it if you want me to, but I tried to find it and I couldn't find it. ESPN has the line though at 5.5 Utah and the over/under 46.5. This will be a really good game. Probably. Thunder Sooner says probably going to be a high-scoring game between UCF and Cincinnati. UCF 45, Cincinnati 35. Good prediction. I think that's a solid prediction for sure. Matt said hard-fought defensive game that comes down to a mistake by the freshman quarterback at Arizona State. Utah by field goal, 20-17. Solid. I think that's solid. You're looking at if Cam Rising's playing, right? That's been said. Cam Rising's playing. I think Utah probably wins this one. You can't. If Arizona State was to pull this one off, though, man, would that be a huge win for them. It would be awesome to see the freshman quarterback at Arizona State play an awesome game and beat Utah. That would be amazing. Is it at? Oh, it's at Arizona State too. And it's a battle. Again, it's a battle of 4-1s. That's going to be it's going to be cool, man. I think that stadium's going to be packed out. That freshman quarterback's probably going to be going to see the best atmosphere that he's seen so far this year in a big time game. Jonathan says Arizona State 17, Utah 27. Solid prediction. Thunder Sooner says Utah wins 35-21. And Matt said they said Cam Rising is playing every week. I have to see him out there before I say he is playing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is the last 2 weeks they said he was supposed to play, and we didn't see him. So yeah, I'm not too sure about it. But I'll say what I've said every week. If Cam Rising plays, they win. If Cam Rising doesn't play, they don't win. And so far, I'm 1-1 on that because 1 week they they did win, and 1 week they didn't. Or 1 week they won, and 1 week they didn't win without Cam Rising. So I was like, well, all right, I'm 1-1 with that. So Utah went to Kansas State. I don't know if Arizona State is as big of an atmosphere as that. Yeah, no, I don't think it's as big of an atmosphere as that at all. But Oklahoma State, yeah, it's definitely not that big of an atmosphere, but it's still Arizona State has been waiting for a game like this for a while. I mean, it's probably been a long while. So don't think that place isn't going to be rocking. It's going to be absolutely popping off there. I think. Maybe not, but who knows? I think it's going to be crazy atmosphere. Yeah, Matt said Arizona State is hungry, right? There you go. Yeah, exactly. This team, that fan base has been waiting for a game like this for a long time. So Utah better be careful. Even if Cam Rising plays, they better not go into this game thinking that it's going to be like cake. It's going to be a cakewalk. Cam Rising is liable to go out there and toss some interceptions. All of a sudden, you're down, a touchdown with 2 minutes to go. You got to go down and score just to tie the game, and that's tough to do away at any opponent's place. So, intriguing matchup here, especially, I'll say this. How has Utah's defense looked? Because they allowed Arizona 23. They got beat. I mean, their defense has been pretty solid. What? 0 points. I mean, to Southern Utah. 12 points to Baylor. 21. Utah State scored 21. Oklahoma State scored 19. And then Arizona scored 23. But, I mean, their offense just didn't score. So, Matt said Arizona State isn't a football school. They need to turn it into one. I'm rooting for them. They haven't been relevant since Jake the Snake lost to OSU for a national title in the Rose Bowl. Exactly. Yeah. Utah's just tough with Cam Rising in, Jonathan said. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're pretty tough with Cam Rising in. He's definitely a top quarterback in the nation, not just the Big 12, in the whole country. So, but that's what I'm saying, man, is I hope that Utah's confidence, or I guess I would say arrogance, I hope their confidence doesn't turn into arrogance. That's what I'm trying to say. If their confidence turns into arrogance, you could see this team down, 1 or 2 touchdowns in the final minutes of this game and in trouble. But maybe not. I guess we'll find out. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it rolling. Next game, 3-2 Arizona at undefeated BYU. Give it up to BYU. I've been saying this every week. My best friend Gabe, he was in this show last week, and he gave me my props. He said, you called it at the beginning of the season that BYU is being overlooked, and they're a very good team. And they've been showing, right? Their defense has been playing lights out. That offense has been playing really well-oiled machine. They're a tough squad, man. And it's funny because it's another team that before the season began, everybody was writing them off, putting them at the bottom of the conference. But BYU fans came at me, and they were letting me know, you don't know what you're talking about. Fair enough, fair enough. I'm getting shown up. They're 5-0, big wins over Kansas State. And, give it up to them. What was their last win? Over Baylor. Now, they almost gave it up against Baylor. Give credit to Baylor, coming back because They were down. What were they down? 31 to 14. Baylor was down 31 to 14 and came back and almost won that game. So it's kind of scary being a BYU fan and seeing that happen because you're thinking, whoa, what's going on here? You know? Matt said, I'm saying now it's time for BYU to lose. Arizona knocks them off. Really? Jonathan, Arizona knocks them off. Wow. Russell Snyder got in here. Thanks for the comment, Russell. I really appreciate it, man. He said Utah used to playing Arizona State. Utah 23, Arizona State 20. All right. Okay. Matt says when BYU beat SMU, I knew they were good. Thunder Sooner, this could be a loss for BYU. Nice. Oh, sweet. Kuz jumping in here. Let's add him up. Here. Let me add you to the overlay here.
Oh, my bad.
1 second. Let me move mine. Hold on. I got you. Just give me a second. I'm going to put me somewhere, and then I'm going to put you here. I'm going to have to fix this overlay a little bit, but that's okay.
No worries.
We'll get it figured out. I'll get it figured out. There we go. We're good. We're solid. Let's put you in the spotlight. We can put you in the spotlight.
Well, I see what you're talking about now.
No, what?
Hold on.
There we go. All right.
Oh, that's
Are
cool.
You there?
Yeah, how'd you do that? What's up? Can you not hear me?
I can't hear you yet.
I can hear you. I'm not sure what's up.
It's okay. He said take the Big 12 Blitz off. I can't edit it right now. It's fine. I'll make a better overlay next time. And next time I make the overlay, I'll put it more up to the side. That way when somebody comes on here, next time I can just pull it down over here in the middle. So it'll be all right. I can hear both of you. Oh, okay, cool. They can hear you. I can't for some reason. I don't know why. Hold on. Probably because I have my mic plugged in.
I bet you have your mic plugged into your audio port. I don't know why I'm saying that. He can't hear me.
Go ahead and talk. I'll figure this out.
Testing 1, 2. What's up? What's up, everybody? Sorry to interrupt the show here. I didn't know it was going to create chaos or I wouldn't have joined. I just had a few. I wasn't doing anything. Thought I'd hop in, join the show. I see you guys are talking about Arizona BYU. I like this game. I think this is a chance for Arizona to prove that they are, for real. Because right now they're kind of up and down. It's kind of a mixed bag with them guys. I was trying to pull up some stats here real quick before I was hoping to have them pulled up before he let me in. But this, I'm still not totally convinced that BYU is one of the top teams in the league because I just don't think their offense is very good right now. Defensively, though, they're legit. I mean, there's no denying that. Let me see. Can you hear me, Matt, yet?
Yep, sure can.
Oh, you can? Okay, cool. What'd you have to do?
He was right. I had it plugged into the the audio side, I guess. Let me try the other side. Hold on.
What did you do? Just unplug it? The beauty of live television, baby. What is it?
Here we go. It doesn't matter which side I plug it into. For some reason, when I plug it in,
I can still hear you. Okay. What'd you do? Just unplug your mic?
Yeah, I just switched to my other one, so it's fine. I'll just work off that.
I can hear you fine.
All right, cool.
Sorry to mess you up your rhythm, man. I didn't realize it was going to mess you up, or I wouldn't have messed with it.
Ain't no problem. I don't care. It also let me know that I need to fix my overlay a little bit. So, which I need to fix the Big 12 Blitz logo anyways, fix the Big 12 color being black. And when I do that, I'll move it over. There we go. Yeah, let's do that. Perfect.
I just took the overlay off.
Yeah, that's smart. I don't know why I didn't think of that.
Well, hey man, when you're live battle like this on live, it's hard to remember everything. Trust me.
Right.
But anyway, I was just saying, I didn't get to get your thoughts on this game. What are your thoughts on Arizona BYU?
Yeah, so I think this is a big game. Obviously, it's a big game for both squads, right? I think this is going to be a good testament to who BYU is and who Arizona is, especially after this last week's game, because as I was talking about it, BYU almost let Baylor come back and beat them.
Right.
And you can't do that against Arizona. Now, of course, I'm not saying that Arizona is that great, but I think they are still a dangerous team. And if BYU's not on their P's and Q's, it's probably looking like trouble for BYU. Now, is this? Yeah, it's at BYU, so keep that in mind too. In the Big 12.
Yeah. Well, Provo's, is it a night game?
4 o'clock.
No, it's 4 p.m. I see it 4 p.m. Provo, man. Provo is a legit home field advantage, man. They get loud as crap in that stadium. So yeah, it's going to be tough. That's a tough game for Arizona. I was trying to pull up the team stats here for Arizona. They're 15th in the league in scoring offense. That doesn't bode well for them. Yeah.
Now, granted, their defense is pretty solid, but I thought
third in scoring defense. So the defense is legit. Yeah.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. How good is K-State's offense? Because I mean, BYU held them to 9 points.
Yeah, that's fair. K-State is 8th in the conference in scoring offense. And
it's just so weird.
6th in scoring offense. I mean, total offense.
It's just
Arizona's going to struggle to score against BYU more than likely. If I had to, because they don't run the ball well. They like to throw it, obviously, because of Fafita and McMillan.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
When you look at Arizona, but when you look at BYU's pass defense, it's 4th in the conference. They're only giving up 171 yards a game. So this is a tough matchup for Arizona, man. I'm not sure, even though I'm not totally sold on BYU as one of the top teams yet, or the top team yet, I should say. I think they're one of the top teams. I'm not sure their offense is good enough to beat a lot of teams in the conference, but I do think they're good enough to beat Arizona.
Yeah. Well, see, I would say the same thing, but I also didn't believe that. Arizona would beat Utah. But again, it's like I've been saying week to week. Utah's not the same without Cam Rising. That's just the facts of it. And I think Arizona got a lucky break there. I don't think Arizona wins that game if Cam Rising's that quarterback.
I don't either. I mean Utah's a different football team when he's a quarterback. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. So there is pressure. I seen somebody throw a comment down there that said there's pressure at being undefeated. I agree, but there's not pressure at being undefeated playing at home.
Maybe not. I still think there is, but it's not. I don't know that BYU is a lot of older guys.
Yeah,
for the most part, because a lot of their players have to do mission trips and whatnot, so they're likely going to be more mature. I think Kalani Sitake's a good coach. I think he'll have them ready. I don't worry about BYU feeling pressure. My biggest concern with them is just their offense as a whole. But I think that defense is so good that they don't have to score a lot of points to win games. I mean, Arizona may not put up. I don't think Arizona puts up 3 touchdowns against BYU this weekend, to be honest with you.
Yeah, if they're going to win, if Arizona's going to win, They're going to have to hold that BYU offense to under 20 and hope that they can get, an extra possession.
I mean, they held SMU to 15 points. And look how
Yeah.
good SMU's off. SMU went out and put up over 60 against, was it TCU, I think?
Yeah.
So what's that tell you? Not saying
Yeah,
TCU.
we'll see.
No, don't get me wrong. TCU's defense is bad, but
Yeah.
that's still a lot of points.
Yeah. Yeah, I think another thing that I was going to mention is that they scored 31 in the first half against Baylor and only could muster up 3 points in the second half.
BYU, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, their offense isn't. But, I don't know that they need to score that much.
Right. I mean, they allowed a touchdown each quarter to Baylor.
Who are you picking for this one? Have you picked yet?
No, I haven't had my prediction, but if I scroll down here, hold on. Where's it at? Oh, why did I do that? I accidentally put Arizona State. There we go. Yeah, I mean, I have BYU winning this game, so.
Dang, we got 50 people in here all of a sudden. Awesome.
Yeah. No, it's been at 40 the whole time.
Awesome.
And it's just been steady climbing. So.
Yeah, I was. It took me a bit to get on here, so I wasn't able to.
So
during
good.
that time,
I'm glad you hopped in here. I figured you were going to hop in here when it was mentioned.
Well, I mean, I hadn't planned to, but then I was kind of just sitting around doing nothing, so I thought, well, why not?
Yeah, good week. It's a good week too, though, because I mean, awesome games this week. Again after last week, so. Wore black bear outfit and a black bear cap for the Coal Rush. He's wearing all black. Is it black bear? Is it?
I don't know about the black. I don't know about the black bear part, but he is wearing black. They showed they had a video of him in his black get up. So
yeah. I think it's just black. I don't think it's black bear, but I think it's just the buckskin, black buckskin.
What do you think about I even got a Coal Rush background now, man.
Yeah, that's sick. I should have worn my black. I wore my Coal Rush hoodie last week. Should have saved it for this week.
Yeah, that's all right. No biggie. But anyway, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. You're completely fine. Just, I mean, this is a great game to talk about. I think if it was a later game, I believe it'd be even better to BYU's side. Oh yeah, did you hear me earlier? By the way, on the Arizona State and Utah game, I couldn't find the spread on BetUS.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't find that game.
Interesting. I'll look and see.
I tried sorting it different ways. I've tried, searching. I couldn't find it.
You said it was the Utah-Arizona State one?
Yeah, Utah and Arizona State. Jonathan said, I like the background. Yeah, I do too. That's an awesome background.
I just thought
he said you all need the minor caps they're selling. That would be sweet.
I actually got one. I just haven't got it out of the box yet.
That's amazing. I'm gonna have to snag one.
I've got a special plan for it. I'm not going to give it away yet.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to the game, unfortunately. Whoever asked, Jonathan,
yeah. You're not going. I'll be there.
I've already got plans with the family. Right here it is. It's -5.5. Utah's the favorite.
Okay.
Over under is 46.5. That's low.
Okay. That's what ESPN had, but I'll edit it.
That's fine. That's low though, man.
Yeah, 40. You're talking about 46.5? Yeah, for sure, especially for that game.
Well, and this was probably before the announcement about Cam. I don't know. Now that the announcement Cam's playing, I would have thought that would have went up, but
yeah. Coos, let's do a watch party one game.
I've thought about it, man. I just I don't know. I'm the type of person I can only focus on one thing at a time. And if I try to watch a game, and I wouldn't be able to watch the game and interact with my audience at the same time. You know what I mean?
I think I could pull that off.
You probably could. I can't. I just can't. I may do it. I may do it in a game one of these days that, like, this West Virginia's not involved in or something. That might be cool to do. But when I watch a game, I want to be locked in.
For sure.
And I can't lock in, and it's just the way my brain works. I have to focus on what I'm focusing on, it's like I see a squirrel out here. I get sidetracked.
I think I'll be at the game.
I'll
be at the game this weekend. So,
oh, will you? Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really want.
Matter of fact, I scored tickets for $40.
What?
Yeah. As soon as they announced that this week was going to be the Coal Rush game, I immediately went on and got lower. I'm not talking about any tickets, lower seating tickets for $40.
That's awesome, dude.
It's crazy.
I think it'll end up selling out or coming close.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people were waiting to see what happened last week, I think.
Yeah.
I know. I just got a message a few minutes ago, actually, about an hour ago. There was somebody selling tickets for $50.
Yeah. Yeah. Jonathan said, how? I don't know, man. I hopped on, I guess, after the start of the season, it's just how it was. And I went on there immediately after it was announced that this was going to be the Coal Rush game. So my timing was just impeccable, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that Utah Arizona State game tomorrow night.
Piece. What?
Woo.
I just went. Yeah, that's rough.
That's about what I paid for. I bought the mini plan, and when you divide it out, it comes out to about $140 a ticket.
Yeah, man, I just
game.
Not to get off track here, but I went to what a game to go to. I just went to the Bengals and Ravens game.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, what a game. But I paid an outrageous amount for those tickets.
Yeah, I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, and I've never been to a game. It's what's on my bucket list.
It was my first game. It was my first.
Was it?
That's why I went. It was my first time, and I took my dad. And that's why I did. I was like, whatever. I don't care. I'm paying it because I want to go. And it's probably going to be a great game. And, dude, it was crazy. What a first game to go to.
Yeah. Cool.
So, yeah, look at that. 61 people. Whoop,
yeah.
Whoop.
Thanks, everybody, for getting this thing crunk. All right. Yeah, personally, this game here, I like BYU in this one. I just don't know that Arizona's going to be able to score enough points to beat BYU. I know BYU's offense isn't great, but I think they'll do enough.
Yeah,
they force turnovers. They're stingy on defense. I think they win it.
Yeah, I think the line. I see BYU again. I'm taking BYU, and I think they win by way more.
Yeah, I think they cover the 3.5.
Yeah,
I think they win by at least a touchdown.
Yeah. All right.
I'm not sold on. I just don't think Arizona's. I think they're an average team. Basically.
Yeah, I do too, because I think you said it earlier. Is that they're pass happy because their run game's not really that great.
Mm-hmm.
So they stay pass happy with Fafita. So I agree.
And their pass, and they haven't been throwing the ball as well as you'd think either. Like Fafita's thrown 6 picks, it's only 7 interceptions.
Yeah,
that's not good.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move to the next game. This next, dude, it's another game, man. This is why I said this is perfect for you to hop on here, because this is another game where I'm just like, I don't know. 4-1, number 18 Kansas State at 4-1 Colorado. At Colorado. BetUS has K-State at 3.5, and the over-under's 55.5. Tough one. Especially because Colorado surprised me against UCF. Now, of course, I don't. Tosh Miller said I don't enjoy a bunch of talking while watching the game. Yeah, it's tough. That's what we were kind of saying. It's tough to watch the game and also speak to people at the same time. So I agree. Kind of tough. Matt said, my God, I hate Colorado. We all do, Matt. We all do. He said they are going to friggin' win. Daniel said Colorado wins 34-30. Man, I don't know. They surprised me against UCF. I thought UCF was going to win that game. And wasn't it at UCF? I believe.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. It was at UCF, and Colorado put up 48. Dude. They put up 48 points. Shedeur Sanders the guy's been consistent all season so far. 290 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game. What really did UCF in that game was Jefferson threw 2 picks, 2 costly picks.
Yeah, KJ Jefferson's he's not the guy.
No. Not to keep them in the top half of the conference. He's not.
Man, this is a tough one to pick here. I don't like Colorado either, but I actually think this might be a game where Colorado may match up well with Kansas State, simply because Kansas State, if they have a weakness, it's their pass defense, at least statistically.
Right.
And they don't throw the football. So if Colorado gets a lead, Kansas State won't be they're not built to come back because they're a run first team.
Yeah.
I don't think they can stop Colorado's pass game. This game is going to come down to can Colorado protect the ball, and if they can jump out to a lead, I think they win this game.
Yeah, I think that Colorado offense is, I want to say mature enough, but we know that they're not mature. I guess I would say I feel like they're disciplined enough and they have enough firepower to overcome K-State. Again, I really like that quarterback for K-State. He's a good quarterback, but I'm not completely sold on him yet. And I think that becomes the deciding factor in this game because you can't, as you said, Colorado matches up well with them. And K-State, I don't think they can keep up. This is what I was trying to say. I don't think K-State can keep up with the offense of Colorado.
I'm with you. It's Colorado. I think they'll take the same approach they took in the UCF game. Coach Prime said in his post-game press conference, we knew we could score.
Yeah.
And we knew they weren't built. They're a run team. So we knew they weren't built to score with us. And if we could score, we thought we'd win the game. I see this as a similar game. I think K-State's better than UCF. Don't get me wrong. But, man, it's at Colorado, so the Colorado fans will show out. They're going to be excited.
Another night game, too.
Yeah, I've just got a gut. I think Coach Prime will have his guys motivated with a ranked team coming in. I hate to do this because I don't like Colorado either, but I think Colorado covers here and maybe even wins straight up.
No, I agree. I have Colorado winning this game. Again, I'll have, of course, my predictions at the end. I have them covering. I have Colorado covering, and I have them winning.
Yeah, the only thing. I mean, obviously, we know Giddens can run the football. Avery Johnson can run the football. If they can contain Avery Johnson and Giddens will get his yards, but if they can just limit his yards, and they played. Look, that Colorado defense played a lot better against UCF than they had been in previous weeks. I think they're getting a little bit better every game.
Yeah,
and they've got a lot of guys. When you look at the league leaders in individual statistics, they have a lot of guys that are doing really well individually. Their team stats don't necessarily show it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of talent on that team, and I just think because it's in Colorado, I think Colorado wins it. Sorry, K-State fans. I want K-State to win the game because I like to see them ranked when they come into Morgantown, highly ranked when they come into Morgantown next weekend. But I'm just going with my gut here. I think Colorado's got this one.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'm going to tell you a big part of why I made that decision was the BYU game. BYU beat K-State 38-9. And I think that's because the same thing. I think that BYU and BYU's coach, I think they were smart enough to know the identity of K-State And they took that to their advantage. They used that to their advantage. And I think Dion in Colorado will do the same thing. Their offense is just – it is what it is, man. Like, we all don't like Colorado, but that offense is high-powered. And one of the top offenses in the Big 12, one of the best in the country. And I think that offense is just too much for K-State. And then, I've said this before. I said this a couple weeks ago. Shoot, I think I say it every week. K-State is one of those teams. Excuse me. K-State is one of those teams that plays disciplined football.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
They've always played disciplined football. That's why they've always been typically in the top half of the Big 12. They don't beat themselves. Usually, they don't beat themselves. They play good on special teams, and they execute really well. And that's why traditionally K-State has always been good. And so that's one thing that's keeping me, that's kind of like tugging at me to not take Colorado here, because I feel like K-State might be a bit more disciplined than Colorado.
That's fair.
So I think, I think that's what's going to keep K-State in the game, is their execution and their discipline, because that's just the identity of K-State. That's who they've always been. And I don't think that Colorado, and I think that's what Dion has been trying to instill in Colorado, is being disciplined and execute well.
Right.
But I don't know, man. It's a tough one. It's a really, really, really tough game to.
And Kansas State does get after the quarterback well too.
Yeah.
When you were talking,
seen that Colorado,
I wasn't
Shedeur
ignoring you, by the way.
Does not perform well under pressure.
Yeah, when you were talking, I wasn't ignoring you. I was actually looking at stats.
No, I got you.
K-State's one of the top in the league in sacks by their defense. So they'll get to Shedeur, but I mean, Shedor's been sacked a lot all year, and he still makes plays.
Yeah.
And he doesn't throw picks typically. Colorado forces a lot of turnovers. They're +4 in turnover margin. It's at home. If this game was in Manhattan, I wouldn't. There's no way I'd pick Colorado to win. But it's in Boulder. I like the way I don't think Kansas State can. I don't necessarily think they can score with Colorado, so I'm taking the Buffs here to cover. And
matchup predictor has Kansas State winning, which, I mean, it's a ranked 4-1 K-State, so it makes sense. Avery Johnson, he's got 879 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Shedeur Sanders has already 1,600 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Sheesh. Man.
That's what I'm saying, man. For somebody that gets hit as much as he does, for him not to throw picks, he's remarkable. As much I think he's arrogant. I don't like him.
Yeah.
But man, you cannot argue with his results, man. I mean, he's a phenomenal quarterback.
Yeah.
And he has arguably the best player in college football to throw it to. So.
Oh yeah. That's no doubt. And so I want to be clear about that as well, is that I like Travis Hunter. I don't think he's nearly as arrogant. I don't think he's nearly. Yeah, I think he's very level-headed, and he of course he still celebrates and stuff, but he doesn't do some.
I don't have an issue with that. No, I don't have an issue.
Right?
With
No, he just doesn't do some of the silly stuff that Sanders does.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like him. And he's of course he's a deciding factor in every game. But I think he's going to be a huge factor in this game. Again, that's what ESPN's saying. They're saying K-State faces tough task of containing Colorado two-way standout Travis Hunter. And they're completely right. And again, K-State allowed 38 points against BYU. And BYU's offense is not nearly as good as Colorado's.
Exactly.
So I think it's going to be a close game.
By the way, for those of you who are watching on Matt's X account, be sure to come over to Kuz's Corner on YouTube after the show's over. Subscribe to my channel, and you can catch Matt's past shows that he's already done. And you can also catch my stuff that I do over on the channel as well. So just wanted to throw that out there before we move on. Absolutely.
It's your channel. I should have done that. Again, still early on in the show. We're still ironing out some things. And I think we'll get it nice, crisp, and clean eventually. Outlaw! There's Outlaw. He's back. I've been waiting for you, man. Conton Deion Sanders and son Sakazula Sanders are going down. I called WU blowing out Okeechobee State on this show too.
Yeah, I took the L on that one. I actually picked West Virginia to lose that game.
I did too.
You did too?
Yeah. I did too. I think we all did. We all did. Except the Oklahoma State fan that predicted.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We did. I did. That's right. Because I read those. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Interesting. Because they were down, their fan base was down on them too.
When does WU ever go into Boone's Picking and play well?
Yeah.
Except last time, the time before when we won in the rain. But I mean,
that game didn't really have any meaning. So you know what I mean? I kind of chalked it up to just,
yeah,
not for West Virginia anyway.
Right. No, absolutely. I mean, I didn't expect it at all. Especially, I mean, where I threw this in my prediction. West Virginia was 3-4 at Oklahoma State, and they were 2-8 in their last 10 matchups. So I did not see that coming at all.
Matt Dix is talking about he's not picking WU. Take this for what it's worth, Matt. But Jonathan Martin and I have both picked West Virginia. We both picked West Virginia to lose to Kansas. They won. We both picked them to lose to Oklahoma State, and they won. So stay tuned to see if we keep picking them or not to lose.
That's funny. I think we're all 2-3 or 2-4, something like that.
Yeah, I've got to get him my prediction. Actually, I keep forgetting.
Yeah, I did too. I haven't seen him on either. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Again. All right, so we're gonna
got to give Outlaw credit. He called it by 21. He said.
Yeah. No, he called it last time, and he has been on Deion Sanders' butt, dude. He was on him.
Trust me, he doesn't like Deion Sanders. I can vouch for that.
Yeah, he was on him last show. He's on him this show. I expected it. I called it. I said WU by 21. Yeah, you hate it. You had it, man. Daniel Sargent said, hate to say this, but I have West Virginia winning by 3 or more.
You just jinxed it, man. You just jinxed it, Daniel.
Hey.
Nah, I hope you're right.
See. We'll see. I watched Outlaw's show before, LOL. Yeah, so real quick, I'll just go over it again one more time. 4-1, number 18 K-State plays at Colorado, who's also 4-1. Battle of the 4-1s. Saturday night game at 10:15 Eastern time on ESPN. Going to be a heck of a game. I'll have my prediction here at the end of the show. Moving on to the last game of the night. And that is, of course, without further ado, undefeated number 11 Iowa State comes into Morgantown I put versus. You see that? Jeez.
Huh?
I put versus at. There we go.
Oh, that's all right.
Undefeated Iowa State, number 11, comes into Morgantown, who's to face West Virginia, who's 3-2. The first ever Coal Rush game, all black uniforms. That will be Saturday night at 8:00 Eastern time on Fox. BetUS has the line at Iowa State 3 and the over-under 53. Exciting matchup. Big-time game in Morgantown. This could be everyone, of course, you're going back to the opening of the season, the Penn State game, calling it the biggest game in Morgantown since whatever.
Yeah.
This is the biggest game since then. And I'm curious to see how West Virginia responds. We're in a different time of the season, of course. We're now 5 games in. And we'll see if West Virginia is any different than the beginning of the season. Big time game, going to be on a big stage. And can they perform wearing all black? I think I've always said this. I think it's a big statement for teams to have all black uniforms and to play in all black. When you're wearing all black, I believe you're trying to make a statement. It's just always been my belief.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I think so. I mean, there's multiple reasons for it. Number one, you're making a statement. Two, it's a great marketing. It's great marketing. It gives you more uniforms and more merch to sell. Three, the players love it. It's great for recruiting. It's great for PR, and it makes the players feel good when they put it on. It makes them feel good, and when you play, you feel good. You play good, right? So, I think there's multiple reasons, and it gets the fans look at the fan interest. Gets fan interest up, gets people excited to go to the game. I mean, it's a great idea. I know a lot of the traditionalists don't like it, but we're not the ones putting that uniform on and going out there and playing. So at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, what the players want, in my opinion. So.
I got to throw that comment up there. I had to.
Outlaw College Football's always supporting us here. We appreciate you, buddy. And he's, by the way, y'all see that badge beside his name? That means he's a channel member.
Yep.
He gets access to the early content that I put out. So
fantastic. It's funny.
Which there's one out right now, by the way, for channel members. It's my latest commentary alignment video.
I did. Hey, I like those videos. It's interesting talk because you never know what's going to go on in conference realignment.
It never sleeps, man.
Dude, it's so unpredictable. I think sometimes, not all the time, sometimes.
And I completely left that out, to be honest. And that was one of the main reasons, was homage to the coal miners. But that was another reason for it.
Yeah.
The main reason,
obviously,
actually.
Biggest reason.
Yeah.
Besides money.
Thank you, Matt, for keeping us on track.
Yep, that's right. It's funny. I was going to say a few minutes ago, there's been a few predictions thrown in the comments that are exactly the predictions that I made for a couple games. I mean, really? the score I'm talking about, the score, have been exactly the same score that I predicted. I just thought it was hilarious, and I'll call them out when I talk about them here in just a few minutes. So y'all didn't know this, but the cold jerseys were shown back in June already. Knew they were sick. Yep, I saw them, Daniel.
Yeah, we didn't. We knew they were coming, but we didn't know exactly what they were going to look like.
Right. Yeah.
We had some guesses out there, but I thought they hit it out of the ballpark with the silver and the silver on the helmet. I mean, they knocked it out of the park. And the little flakes of coal dust. I mean, man, they get every little detail in there, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think they're the nicest all black uniforms in the country. I don't even think it's close.
So. And I've even heard a lot of people that aren't fans of West Virginia make the same statement.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We're not just being homers here. It's legit. They're good looking uniforms.
Yeah. And I really like, who was it? Does Utah have all black?
I think they have a black uniform. I know Iowa State does because they wore them against us one year.
I can't remember if it was them or I can't remember who it was. There's one other all black jersey that I think is so sick, but I can't think of who it was. Matt said yes. Yeah, I think it was Utah's. I think Utah's are pretty sweet. I think Utah's jerseys in total are pretty sweet. That like shiny red on their helmets. Dude, I think that looks so good. Ohio State does. Yeah, of course, Ohio State's look awesome too. That scarlet red, like, looks sweet. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything nice about them.
Well, nobody knows this in this show yet. Nobody knows this yet. I'm a Mountaineer before anything. Mountaineers come first, but I'm also a Buckeyes fan. I was born in Springfield, Ohio. I've lived in Ohio almost half my life, almost.
That's fair.
But I grew up in West Virginia. Went to West Virginia University. So Mountaineers come first.
And you live in Ohio now, right? So it's all fair.
Yeah.
If you have roots to the state, I have no qualms.
Yeah, I have full reason. I have full reason to be. not just some, bandwagoner. I have reason.
Right. I get it. That's all. That's good. I have a really good friend that's a Buckeye fan because he was born. He's originally from Ohio too. He spent most of his life in West Virginia, but he has Ohio roots, so he's always been a Buckeye. Now he likes West Virginia too, but for him, it's the other way around. It's Ohio State, then West Virginia.
Nah, can't do that.
Because his whole family, he didn't go to West Virginia either, so he
Right.
doesn't really have that tie-in. And
Yeah.
his entire family are, his dad. So it's for him. It's also a tradition thing,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, of course, we're I want to say, what's the word? We're pretty passionate for our Mountaineers.
Absolutely.
So, it's different for Ohio. They have sports teams, professional sports teams, and West Virginia don't. And I think a lot of the things with West Virginia is that we've always just had a chip on our shoulder, So, uh-oh.
Ohio State, I mean, he thinks USC is going down to Penn State. I don't think so. I think USC wins the game. Penn State hasn't looked very impressive to me, other than when they beat us. And let's be honest, West Virginia didn't play well. So
he said Ohio stink. I've never heard that one before. That's pretty funny. That's hilarious. Lincoln Riley are going down to Penn State. I do think Penn State's pretty good. I give credit where it's due. I didn't want to think that Drew Aller was that great, but he's been pretty good. But really the strongest part of Penn State is that defense, and I think the defense is too much. I think Penn State definitely wins that game.
Do you? Yeah, I'll be honest. I haven't watched a whole lot of USC, so my opinion is not educated. It's just a guess.
I don't think USC is that great. They got. Let's see. Hold on. I mean, they're unranked now because they've lost twice. Yeah, they lost to Minnesota and Michigan. Number one, I don't think Michigan's that great this year. They're good, but they're not that great. Two, Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota's good, but for them to lose those two games, I don't think they're going to beat Penn State because I think Penn State's
a good point.
Much better than those two teams.
That's a good point. I completely forgot about that game, that Minnesota game last week.
Yeah. Yeah, and Penn State's much better. I think Penn State's better than Michigan by far, and I think Penn State's better than Minnesota by far. So, yeah. Say it with me. All right. Yeah. So, just back on topic real quick. Number 11, Iowa State, undefeated, going in to Morgantown to face 3-2 West Virginia for the Coal Rush game, Saturday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time on Fox. Big time game, big time stage. Going to be an exciting one, fun one. I'm excited to see what Morgantown looks like. I'm excited to see what Milan Puskar Stadium looks like in all black. That's going to be interesting. I can't wait. Hopefully, I think they were kind of teasing something with the field. I'm curious what they're going to maybe do with the field. Maybe they won't do anything. They might keep it, traditional. But you never know with Rim Baker, man. Rim Baker is unpredictable in a good way.
Yeah,
I think he surprises us.
They're doing
a
drone.
The best ways.
Yeah, there's going to be a drone show.
Yeah, that's going to be sweet. What an awesome addition, right?
Yep.
Daniel Sargent said, "Paint the end zones black." Dude, I hope so. I think that would look sweet, especially with the fans wearing all black. I think it's going to look awesome. So, yeah, going to be a big game. I'm excited. I'll be there. Can't wait to watch it. I really hope we get that win. I don't know if it's going to happen, so we'll see. Nonetheless, let's move forward. We're going to go into my predictions. And since Kuz is in here, we're going to throw his predictions in there as well. That's what we're going to do. So, right now, dude, the last 2 weeks, I don't know if you heard me earlier. Last 2 weeks have killed my predictions record. I'm sitting at 12-8. At one point, I was like 11-2 or something. And yeah. Or not 11-2, like 10-3. I can't remember. But that wasn't bad. It's been a rough 2 weeks. So yeah, right now, let's go ahead and run through these. How do I?
So you're 12-8 total. That's your overall record so far.
Yeah, 12-8 total. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run these games. I'm going to put them up at the top. First game here at the top. So, and I'm going to run my predictions at the bottom. And you can see them and we can talk about them as we go. Game 1, I have UCF over Cincinnati, 34-28. It's at UCF. I think that was a big factor. Again, this is two teams that's coming off of a loss. And it's down to who doesn't want to turn one loss into two losses. You know, who doesn't want to, I guess who doesn't want to turn it into the snowball effect? Who will avoid the snowball effect, if you will? And I think that UCF gets back on track here and gets the win at home against a scrappy Cincinnati team. Of course, I got it 34-28. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it might be more of a defensive battle than what I've got it. It might be a lower scoring game than what I have it. Maybe something along the lines of like 24-21 or 27-21, 27-24, maybe. We'll see. But I have it at 34-28. That's what
I'm actually going the other direction. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think Cincinnati's offense, they have one of the best offenses in the league. UCF does as well when it comes to running the football. They're not passing it as well, but two really good offenses. But both defenses are a little suspect. So I think this has the makings of a high scoring game. But I also said that last week about Texas Tech and Arizona, and it was 28-24. So what do I know? Or whatever the score was, 28 something. It was in the
28-22.
And I didn't see that coming. I mean, I thought Texas Tech would put up 40 points.
Yeah.
40 or 50 points. But anyway, so, it shows how, what do I know, right? But now I just see this being – I actually like Cincinnati in this one. I think things are falling apart at UCF. They've had multiple guys say they're entering the portal, including one of their best receivers. I don't know what's going on there. It sounds like the culture – there might be some potential culture issues. I don't know. I don't want to speculate too much, but I just don't think UCF's as good as we thought they were going to be, and I think Cincinnati's better than we thought they were going to be, and I think Cincinnati's able to score a lot of points with Brendan Sorsby at quarterback, and I like Cincinnati. I'm going to say 43-33.
Ooh, that's solid. I think you might be right. I'm going to stand on mine just so we can.
That's cool.
Have a little devil's advocate there.
I could be completely wrong, but I mean, it's at the end of the day, we're just guessing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You never know. I mean, again, last 2 weeks have absolutely killed me. So yeah, it's a tough one to really know. I guess it comes down to who wants it more. And I like Gus Malzahn. I think he's a good coach. Obviously, I guess a lot of these players know much more than what I know. Something must be going on down there at UCF for them to be hitting the portal like they are. But again, I've seen this happen before, and the reason it was happening was because there was somebody better in front. And Gus Malzahn could be standing on that. He could be standing on business of saying, hey, I know who I got. I know who I want. And maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Right. So I'm going to stay on it. I'm going to say, UCF 34-28 over Cincinnati. All right. Next one. Arizona State versus number 16 Utah. It's at Arizona State, as I was saying earlier. This is a dangerous game for Utah. I think it could go either way. Utah could win this game big if Cam Rising's playing. They could win this game by 3 touchdowns. But as I was saying before, Arizona State has been waiting for this kind of game for a long time.
Yep.
And I think that stadium is going to be rocking. It's going to be a very hostile environment. But here's the big thing. And I believe Matt said this earlier. Leavitt, I don't know how to say his name, the freshman quarterback. Yeah, Leavitt for Arizona State, freshman quarterback. Definitely going to be the biggest stage that he's played on this year. And can he handle it? I guess we'll see.
Right.
Utah's defense is pretty good. And I think that Arizona State, being that it's going to be a home game, and they're out to prove people wrong. So they have a big chip on their shoulder. So I expect them to play well. What I'm not too sure about is how well their defense is going to match up against Cam Rising in Utah. And so I might have this game a little bit too much low scoring, to be honest with you. But we'll see. So I have Utah getting the win over Arizona State, 27-23. Now, I believe that Utah could win this game also by probably 37-23. It's just that I believe it's going to be a hostile environment at Arizona State. That's why I kind of left it where it's at. So.
Yeah, so you got Utah winning it. You said 27-23.
Yeah.
I like that number. I'm going to probably say something similar. I think Utah wins it as well. I do think it's a game that stays in the 20s like you. You've got two teams who like to run the football. Sam Leavitt he's not a bad quarterback, but he's not setting the world on fire. He's they rely on Cam Scatterboo in that run game, and their defense has been decent, but they really haven't played great competition. I mean, they beat Kansas, they beat Mississippi State, who's not very good. They lost to Texas Tech. So I'm going Utah here, especially with Cam Rising now announced as a starter. I think Utah wins the game. I think they win it 28-21, something like that, probably about a touchdown difference. I just think Utah's a better football team, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and I think Arizona State's going to struggle to score against them. And with Rising at quarterback, I think Utah will be able to score. Not at will necessarily, but a lot more easily than Arizona State. So I got Utah winning the game, despite it being at Arizona State. they're not going to be scared. They played at Arizona State before. It's not their first rodeo, so I think they'll be fine.
Right. No, I agree for sure. That's something I forgot to mention too, is that Arizona State hasn't really played tough teams.
Not really.
And so they should
you
be.
can say Mississippi State's an SEC team, and that's fair, but they're not. They may be the worst team in the SEC. So
for sure, absolutely. So I mean, should they have beat Mississippi State? I don't know. Probably. Should they be 4-1? Maybe. But
they're definitely better than I thought they were going to be. I mean, to be fair, they're better than I thought. I thought they would be one of the bottom feeders, to be honest. You know, with the rebuild they're having to do there. So their coaching staff is doing a great job and has that team moving in the right direction. But Utah is just too much for them, in my opinion, at this point in time.
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
with Cam Rising.
Yeah, for sure. And it goes back to what I was saying. This game could, I believe, what do we know? Again, it could easily be like 37-23 or 37-20, but I'm trying to go with factors here. Leavitt's playing good, and it's at home. Big game, but I believe Cam Rising in Utah, comfortable. They're used to big games, so it probably won't make a difference. They'll probably win this by more than 2 touchdowns, but I'm going to stick with 27-23. I think that's solid. Matt said Utah 20-10.
Okay. Interesting. So he really thinks they're going to hold Arizona State down.
Yeah. I mean, again, that Utah defense is good. They've been playing really well. So I agree. We'll see.
I mentioned Cam Scatterboo, Daniel. I said he can run the ball, but Utah's run defense is really good, man. Arguably the best in the conference. So I don't He's not going to put up 187, 200 like he has a couple games this year against Utah. And to me, that's kind of what they need to do to win the game. He's got to have a big game for them to win, and he's not getting it against Utah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I think Utah's defense is too good, just for, especially like you said, for Scatterboo to win them the game. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, they'll load the box. They'll load the box and make Sam Levitt beat them, and I don't think he can. Just to be fair.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. It's big time game, big time stage for freshman quarterback. Maybe he can handle it. I guess we'll have to watch. But I again, I'm right there with you. I think Utah is comfortable, and that Cam, especially if Cam Rising's playing, that offense is just too good to go in and not win on a big stage, I think. So, all right, cool. Got that one out of the way. 4-1 Arizona State versus 4-1 number 16 Utah. That game will be tomorrow at 10:30 Eastern time on ESPN. Again, BetUS has the line at 5.5, over under 46.5. So I think that's could be a solid bet there. Utah probably going to cover that spread, I believe. All right, moving on. We obviously were speaking about this earlier. 3-2 Arizona at 5-0. Number 14 BYU. This game's going to be Saturday at 4:00 Eastern time on Fox. I think BYU, again, we were talking about this earlier. I think BYU is too much for Arizona. That defense is fantastic. They held Kansas State to 9 points. So I definitely think BYU is too much for Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona.
I had BYU beating Arizona 34-20.
34-20. So 2 scores then. I like it. Yeah, Arizona was only able to put up 22 points against Texas Tech, right?
Yeah.
Or was that Arizona State? Am I getting my Arizonas mixed up here?
No. Texas Tech.
Okay, so I was right. Okay. And Texas Tech's defense is nowhere near the caliber. Now they played good defense last week. Don't get me wrong. Texas Tech played good defense in that game. But holistically, on the season, they don't hold a candle to BYU on defense.
Yeah.
Arizona's going to struggle to score. Noah Fafita's not having the season he had a year ago. He's throwing too many interceptions, not enough touchdowns. BYU's probably going to get a couple turnovers in the game. It's in Provo. I honestly think BYU blows out Arizona in this game, man. What'd you say, 34-20?
Yep.
I'm going to go 37-17.
That's solid. And it's funny you said that because I was going to say the only reason I give them 20 is for useless score. That's it. I think they're down big.
Daniel and Matt both have Arizona winning late in a 1-score game. That's very cool. And look, the way this conference is, man, as drunk as it is, I wouldn't doubt it. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if that happens.
Absolutely. Hey, again, the last 2 weeks have killed me, man. I did not think.
I mean, who had Houston beating TCU, right?
Huh?
Who had Houston beating TCU?
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, that's just insane.
Well, BYU doesn't score a lot, or they don't score. They've been scoring enough, but that's the thing, Matt, is they don't have to score a lot. Their defense is so dang good, and Arizona's not been putting up a lot of points in their own right. So, but yeah, that's a fair take. We'll see.
Yeah,
you may end up being right, man.
I don't know. I think. I mean, I don't think their offense is that great, but I think that they're good at doing enough. You know, I think that Vandy beat Bama. All things are possible. Fair comment. Fair comment. I agree.
I do think BYU is going to slip up here very soon. So, it wouldn't surprise me if they lose the game, but I'm just not going to pick them to lose it.
Yeah, I mean, after Arizona got by Utah, I definitely agree. I think BYU slips up. Who do they play? BYU, Arizona, Oklahoma State, UCF. Oh, they play Utah as well.
Yeah, the Holy War.
They could slip up against Oklahoma State, though. I mean, again, it's going to be another home game, so not likely, but very possible. That Utah game is going to be that's going to be a good game. For their sake, I hope that BYU stays undefeated until that game. So
I don't see them losing again until that game, man. I mean, they'll be Oklahoma State's reeling right now.
yeah,
UCF's reeling right now, but it is at UCF. But UCF's fans won't show up if UCF's still losing.
yeah,
I experienced that last year when I went to the game down there. Their fans are, which I mean, most fans are, right? When your team's losing, you typically don't get too fired up about it. So,
yeah. BYU
unless you're Nebraska fans. Now, Nebraska fans are an anomaly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. 30 for 3 points a game, while Arizona's 84th, 27 points per game. Yeah, again, I just think that BYU, I think that offense just they do enough. Again, they're playing well in unison with their defense. That defense is so good. I mean, it's hard to, it's hard to play a good defense and continue to try to go out there and score against a solid defense. I mean, when you have that, it's kind of easy for your offense to do what they want, because I was saying it earlier. If you don't have a good offense or you're playing against a good defense, dude, that wears your offense out. And I think that's a lot of what BYU's been doing. Their defense is wearing out these teams. And it's making the other team's defense have to stay on the field longer, and it's tough to win like that. And I think that's what BYU's been doing. And so I think that BYU defense just keeps. How do I say this? The BYU defense just keeps their offense out there enough to wear out the opponent. That's just it. And I think that's how they've been winning. And I don't think it's going to be any different again, especially since it's at BYU. So
I'm going to say something that won't make West Virginia fans happy, but we can talk all we want about BYU's offense being bad. Jake Retzloff's out playing Garrett Green right now at the quarterback position as far as passing the ball.
Gigi hasn't. Gigi hasn't passed the ball as well as we hoped.
No, he hasn't. But I mean, Jake Retzloff's not having them. He's completing 61% of his passes for 2,100 yards, 12 touchdowns, and only 5 picks. Let me look at that again and make sure I'm telling you right on the picks. It may have been less than that. I don't want to get it wrong. Yeah, 12-5. So Jake Retzloff's not playing. I mean, he's not playing great, but he's not playing bad either.
Yeah,
he's doing what he needs to do to win. They can't run the ball very well because they've been riddled with injury at running back. He's actually
that a lot.
Rusher at 156 yards, so they're not running the ball well at all, and that hurts them.
Yeah,
but again, like you said, they do just enough.
Yeah, I say that a lot. Sometimes all you need is a quarterback who just does enough to win. And I think if WVU had the defense that BYU has, we'd be in the same boat right now.
Yeah, and Matt, you got a fair point, man. West Virginia's played a tougher schedule than them. I would, I'll give you that one. So that's probably not a totally fair comparison. And Daniel talking about the BYU and West Virginia having the same BYU, like Matt said earlier, BYU is scoring a lot of their points. Their defense has scored multiple times this year. They've scored points off punt returns, special teams, all kinds of ways. So that's a little bit of, their offense isn't scoring all their points. That's to be fair.
Yeah, but again, it's tough when the defense is just constantly getting the offense off the field.
Yeah,
and that's why BYU's been so good, because their defense just constantly, it's always 3 and outs, and then the opponent's defense is right back on the field. And the BYU offense is just good enough to take advantage of that, I think.
What's the next game on the slate?
People are really dogging WVU. He said, yeah, that Pitt game was really a dagger, man. That was really a dagger. The next game. Moving forward. 4-1, number 18, K-State at 4-1, Colorado. You asked me when we were speaking about this one, what I had. Obviously, you can see it down there at the bottom. Dude, I think this is going to be such a good game. It kind of takes me back to the TCU game against Colorado last year. I think it's going to be a lot of the makings of that game. I think it's going to be, fireworks. And I think Colorado keeps rolling, man. I think that offense is just too much for K-State. I said earlier that K-State plays discipline, usually plays pretty good defense. But what did I base that off of? I based my pick off of, and teams change, of course, teams get better, but they played BYU and got beat 38-9. And BYU's, we were just talking about it. BYU's offense is nothing compared to Colorado's offense. And but also Colorado's defense, I don't think is good enough to keep K-State off the board. And that's why I have Colorado in a tight one, just 6 points. I have Colorado winning 37-31. And it's a night game, like you said, it's a night game at Colorado. So it's going to be very, very hard for K-State to go in there and keep up. This is my factor here. It's going to be tough for K-State to keep up with that Colorado offense.
Agreed.
And I just don't think it's going to happen.
I agree. And I said this earlier. Colorado's going to score a lot of points. K-State likes to run the ball, so they're not built to come back. If Colorado gets a lead, I don't know that K-State can come back. Colorado probably can't stop DJ Giddens in the run game, but all they have to do is stop them 2 or 3 times, because I don't know that Kansas State will stop Colorado hardly at all. So,
yeah.
Colorado, that's the thing with Colorado. When you have an offense that good, you don't have to make a ton of stops. All you have to do is make enough stops to give your offense a little breathing room. So I'm picking Colorado as well. I think they get into the 40s. I'm going Colorado 41, Kansas State 37.
Yeah, I think that's solid, especially because if K-State can keep up with Colorado, that's what it's going to be about. I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think either defense is all that great. And so you could be dead on, man. I mean, this could end up being like the Cincinnati Texas Tech game, 44-41.
Kansas
41.
State, if I remember correctly, their run defense is pretty good, but their pass defense is struggling, and I think that's why they're not really built to play a team. And Shador, they can get to the quarterback, but Shador's proven he can put up numbers and put up big points, even if he's getting sacked a lot.
Yeah.
Because when he's not getting sacked, he's throwing touchdowns.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying, is that there's not going to be many defenses that's going to be able to contain that Colorado offense.
Nope.
And K-State's just not it. And of course, dude, you got Shador Sanders out here who throws the ball 40, 50 times a game. And they're not going to be running the ball. And I just don't think that K-State is going to back up that secondary and be able to stop. It's not going to happen. And again,
Colorado has enough talent at running back that if you do lighten the box, they can run the ball on you. They just choose not to be honest.
Absolutely. And I think it's more along the lines of like Dion making a point, really. A lot of people are saying, padding stats, which of course, 100%. But I think it's more along the lines of like, I'm going to do this and try to stop me. Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I think it's going to be a fantastic game. I'm excited to see how Colorado pairs up. I say pairs up, but fair. I'm excited to see how Colorado fares against a team like Kansas State in the Big 12. Because I say this week to week, Kansas State is one of those teams in the Big 12 that I was saying earlier. They're disciplined and they execute well. And, you know, all the teams in the Big 12 traditionally, now, of course, TCU is not having that great of a year, but I was going to say your typical teams that are like that are like Kansas State, Iowa State, TCU. I would go back to when Gary Patterson was at TCU. I think he did great at TCU, and I think he was along the same lines as Kansas State. Bill Snyder being at Kansas State, and now Matt Campbell at Iowa State have always traditionally been disciplined, executed well, and just played good football. And so I'm very, very curious and excited to see how Colorado fares against this type of football team in the Big 12.
Agreed. This will let us know how good this Colorado team is, in my opinion. This game will.
Yeah. All right. And of course, man, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't know. All right. Undefeated number 11 Iowa State at 3-2 West Virginia. Saturday night, 8:00 Eastern time on Fox. Coos, I'm going to give you the reins on this one first. I don't know, man. What do you think?
I'll just I don't like this matchup for West Virginia. I mean, now I will say this: Iowa State's run defense is their weak spot, so West Virginia should be able to run the football. But the problem is, Iowa State is great at making second half adjustments, right? So West Virginia will likely be able to run the ball in the first half. Second half, they'll shut the faucet off, meaning Iowa State will. And Iowa State's offense, their strength is those two big, tall wide receivers on the outside, and the tight ends, they like to throw to the tight ends. Across the middle, typically. And West Virginia's weakness has been pass defense. And I'm worried that Iowa State will be able to make plays in the pass game. Now, they do like to run the football. Iowa State's very balanced. They will run it. But I worry more about the yards they'll be able to get in the pass game. And I'm just not sure. I also worry about West Virginia. You know, we've seen when they come out for the Penn State game, all the hype around that game, they couldn't handle it. And there's been quite a bit of hype around this game. Can they handle it? Neil Brown's 2-14 against ranked opponents in his career at West Virginia. This is the highest ranked team. It's not the highest ranked team he's played, but it's a chance for him to finally get a win over a team ranked in the top 15. I think the other two wins he has I think they were ranked in the top 25, but not top 15, if my memory serves me correctly. So I just, until he does it or they do it, I'm not going to pick them to do it. So I'm going Iowa State in a close one, 27-24.
Yeah, solid. I think that's a very solid prediction, man. And I agree. I don't, when it comes down to this, and this was what I said this past week, and again, I could be wrong. It comes down to coaching. And I just don't think, I said last week that Mike Gundy would outcoach Neil Brown.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Gundy, his defense is lacking hardcore.
Yeah.
And so I don't think, I mean, of course, it's a little bit of a coaching problem, but it's also just one of those things of like, he can't go out there and play for him. Right.
Yeah, right.
So this week, I think it's much different. And Matt Campbell has the team, you know, he's always had this Iowa State team ever since he started coaching, man. He's always had this Iowa State team playing so good. Even that first season, dude, Iowa State was so good because they played good football. Even if they lost, like they played good football. And I mean, you see Matt Campbell and what he's done there at Iowa State, and I can't bet against Matt Campbell, man.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's hard.
And he's had Neil Brown's number. Let's be honest. I mean, really, he's had West Virginia's number, to be honest, for the last several years. But even when Dana was there. I saw Daniel's comment about Iowa State's red zone defense being 71st, but here's the kicker to that, Daniel. They've only allowed teams to get in the red zone 7 times the entire season. Now they're converting on 6 of those 7, or have converted, but teams can't get in the red zone on them, and that which is one of my keys to the game. If West Virginia can sustain drives and get into the red zone, I think they have a big advantage because 3-3-5 defenses like Iowa State plays are not really built for the red zone. They're built for speed and for guys to play in space. When you get to the red zone, it reduces that space, and guys don't have a good chance to run around and use their speed, right? And with Cole Taylor, if Justin Robinson's back, Jaden Bray, I like West Virginia's chances, and even more so, I like West Virginia's chances in the run game in the red zone. So I do think Iowa State will give up some rush yards to West Virginia, but I'm not sure West Virginia's defense will be able to stop Iowa State enough for that to matter. So, I've got Iowa State winning.
I'm going to say this is that, of course, West Virginia has a good shot at winning this game.
Absolutely, they do. It's winnable, no doubt about it.
Yeah, it's very winnable. And I liked what Matt said. Under pressure, Iowa State hasn't been under pressure this year.
That's very true.
I feel like, honestly, I'm very close to switching my prediction because I feel like Iowa State might get in this atmosphere and not know how to handle it. Now, granted, I just said that Matt Campbell has always had this team disciplined and ready to play. So I don't think that's going to happen. But I think it's very possible for them to get into this atmosphere in Morgantown. That's going to be a completely new atmosphere, right? Coal rush, blackout. Like, this place might be the most raucous it's been in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all going to depend on how these first drives go. I think the first 2 drives of this game for each team is really going to be very important. Because
West Virginia's got to score early.
Exactly. And my point is, how many times has Neil Brown been so conservative to start the game? And I just don't think this is a game that you can be conservative in to start. You cannot do that against this team. And if Neil Brown doesn't play conservative in this game, and he goes down and scores the first drive, and this defense, and this is why I say it's important, because the first Iowa State drive, I want to see West Virginia stand up. I want to see them have some strength about them. And if they can get up and punch Iowa State in the mouth on their first defensive drive, dude, Iowa State's going to be in trouble. And it's only going to be 7-0. Like I said, if that scenario plays out, it's only going to be 7-0. But for Iowa State, it's going to feel like a dangerous situation because you're down 7-0, and all of a sudden you just didn't do anything on offense, and now West Virginia has a chance to go down and make it a 2-possession game right off the rip.
Right.
And it's very possible. It's very possible.
Yeah, and if they do that, I mean, the only I like that, and that was actually another one of my keys. I think West Virginia needs to start fast because Iowa State is a second half team. Iowa State has only scored 6 points in the first quarter against Power 4 competition this year in 3 games. 6 points. That's Houston, Iowa, and Baylor. I had to think for a second. They scored 3, 3, and 0 in the first quarters against those teams. But then in the second half, they turn it on, and they're a totally different football team. But if West Virginia has a 2 or 3 score lead at halftime, it's going to make it much easier or much harder, for Iowa State to, come back, right? Yeah. And when you run the ball as well as West Virginia does, it'll be, they should be able to hold on to the football longer and keep the clock rolling. Yeah. And Iowa State's down to 4 or 5 linebackers in this game, just like Oklahoma State was. So they've got some injury issues on defense too. But West Virginia's not going to be able to do a lot in the pass game, I don't believe, because Iowa State's pass coverage is their strength, and especially deep pass coverage. They're 10th in the country according to PFF in deep pass coverage. So
Yeah.
they're going to have to make plays with Cole Taylor and maybe even running backs out in the flat and things like that in this game. Slants, short intermediates. This is where Garrett's going to have to let that all-season practice kick in and help him win a game, because they've got to probably win in the middle and in a short passing game. Because you got to throw it some, right? You can't run it every single down. So,
yeah, I think GG did something this past week. Well, really, the whole offense did something this past weekend that they needed to do, and that was to find their footing again in the ground game.
Yes,
and find that confidence in the ground game again. Not only the running backs, the offensive line. I think it was a very vital performance for the offensive line, because if you go back and watch that game, I mean, the offensive line was doing whatever they wanted to do. And it was very good because GG made plays with his feet that were amazing. It was great to see him finally do that.
Yeah.
And I believe, I'm right there with you, I believe that Matt Campbell is just too smart of a coach. I believe he's probably going to have a spy on GG. And so it's definitely going to have to come down to, okay, all right, Garrett, like, let's see you start making these passes now, because this is when it's going to matter. Well, we're getting into the games now. This grueling, I said last week, this grueling stretch of games here, you're really going to have to show off your arm, because these teams aren't going to just sit back like Oklahoma State did and leave the middle of the field wide open for you to just run wild.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, it's like I said before, you got three guys back there that you have a three-headed dragon that you have no idea who's going to have the ball, one play to the next. And that could, if Neil Brown utilizes it well.
And he did more last week, if you noticed. He was using CJ as a lead blocker some.
Exactly. If he utilizes it the way that he should, Jaheim White off the edges, CJ up the middle, and GG running wild, it's probably going to look very similar, and WVU could get away with a win. But I completely agree. We have to see if GG can make the plays with his arm. But what I want to see is what I've said all season. GG has to utilize his feet to open up that pass game, because that's always what's going to open up the field for him, is to show that he's dangerous on his feet. And when you're dangerous on your feet, it opens up the field, because then you're able to start passing the ball. And I'm talking about the running backs too. Like, we have to make sure that we keep them honest.
Mm-hmm.
Because once we keep them honest, it's going to open up the pass game a little more. And, a lot of people say it the other way, is that when you start showing that you can make plays with your arm, then it opens up the run game a little more.
Right.
But it kind of works both ways. And I believe that they have to do that this week. Open up the field, show that you're not one-dimensional. That's my thing. If WVU can branch out from being one-dimensional, because I feel like they of course, WVU made some good plays last week against Oklahoma State to keep them honest, but we still were one-dimensional, but we were just taking what we were given, right? And they were just letting West Virginia run wild.
Right.
I don't think Iowa State's going to do that. You have to be good at executing and not being one-dimensional. And I think Iowa State's going to make us. I keep saying us. It's just so tough.
No, I do it all the time. I mean, this is a fan. I'm a fan. I admit, I don't hide it, but I see.
Yeah.
From a media perspective, we're not supposed to say that, but I'm not media, so I'll say whatever.
Right.
Anyway.
It's tough, but yeah, I hope that they go into this game and they prove that they're not so one-dimensional, because if they're not one-dimensional, they win this game.
Agreed.
So, yeah. My prediction. I kind of want to change it, but I'm going to stick with it. I have Iowa State winning the game 30-24.
30-24. Okay, and I said 27-24. So we're right there in the same mindset. Yeah. And Daniel, that's a great point. Does Rocco Beck show up that balls out because his dad's getting inducted into West Virginia Hall of Fame, or does it add too much pressure to him and he can't handle it? As a West Virginia fan, I've kind of seen this before. He's going to ball out and have the game of his life. Probably, because that's just how things work in Morgan for us. But hey,
I'm telling you, man.
What's up, Timothy Green? Glad to see you in here, brother.
Yeah, finally. He's always in here too. So good to see you in here, Timothy. Heck yeah. I think
Timothy, that's how you attack a 3-3-5 defense, in my opinion.
It's 12-yard passes, run the ball all night. You don't have to throw 30. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Russell said, I think it's us against ourselves. It's always West Virginia.
West Virginia has to play a clean game. They have to protect the football, and they can't commit which West Virginia hasn't been committing a lot of penalties. But they have to continue to do that. And Garrett can't be throwing – he can't throw 2 interceptions or more, and they can't fumble the football.
Yeah. Now, again, it's like I was saying, you're playing a Matt Campbell Cyclones team that's always disciplined and always plays good football, fundamental football. West Virginia has to do the same thing. It's kind of like what Joe Burrow said going into the Ravens game. They got to play darn near perfect to win this game.
Yep, I think so. Well, man, I gotta return a call to my mother. She tried to call me a minute ago, so I'm going to jump off here and let you close it out.
All right, man.
It was fun, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to get you in here more.
Yep. See you, brother.
All right, see you, man.
And we're moving this to Wednesday night next week. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good.
All right, man.
See you.
See ya.
See you.
All right, we're back in here. Let's go back to my what I had. We're about to close this out anyways. There we go. About to close it out anyways. I just wanted to see these last few comments. Stormy Cyclone, been listening while combining corn. It's going to be a hell of a game. Ace, Stormy, thank you for throwing in that comment, man. I appreciate you listening that whole time. That's awesome, dude. Man, you guys you've been killing it. And I really appreciate everyone hopping in here, throwing the comments in here. This has been an awesome show tonight. It's been great. I mean, all kinds of conversation going on about it, about all the games. And I've enjoyed tonight more than, any of the other shows I've done. So really, really appreciate it, you guys. But yeah, Stormy, I agree, dude. It's going to be a really good game. I'm excited for it. Like I said earlier, I'll be there. So can't wait to watch that game. Timothy said West Virginia will win this ball game. Mark it down, folks. Good chat. Love y'all. Go Mountaineers. Going to be a good one. G Smyrna, WVU has to kick the football out of the end zone. Well, good luck against Iowa State. This Ute fan is pulling for the Mountaineers. The eye patch. I've seen you in here too, man. You've been awesome. Thank you for the comments. It's so cool to see that, dude. Russell said, great show tonight, everyone. Absolutely. Daniel, for any Iowa State people coming to the game that need help, y'all definitely reach out. And Paul, go Cyclones. Hey, good luck, Paul. Again, it's going to be a fantastic game. Always love playing Iowa State. They always have a great football team. Matt Campbell's a heck of a coach. Iowa State fans are the best in the conference. You can't beat Iowa State fans. I hope to see some of you guys there. If you guys, see me this weekend, I'll be there. I'll be looking for you guys. Of course, you see my name, Matt Thornsberry. If you see me, come talk to me. Let's have a discussion about the game. That would be fun. I hope to see you guys there. It'll be so fun. Night games, right? Night games. And it's a coal rush game. What more perfect of a game to have the coal rush game than against the Cyclones? Man, I think it's perfect. It's literally going to be a perfect weekend for football. So Daniel says, WVU at night hits differently. Absolutely. The eye patch says, thanks. Absolutely, man. I hope you have a good night. Again, good luck to you guys this weekend. Daniel said, what section you in, brother? I think I'm in section 120, I believe. Let me check real quick. I got to check. First, I got to find my ticket. I don't even remember what app I had my ticket on. Let's see. Let me find it. Here it is. No, maybe not. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find it. I don't know. I don't remember what I ordered it on, to be honest with you. Oh, I know where it's at. It's in my wallet. Duh. 122. I'm in section 122, row 27. Section 122, row 27. That's why you always put your ticket into your Apple Wallet. Yes, it is in the, it is in my Apple Wallet. That's where it was. Russell Snyder, come tailgate with us Cyclone fans. Absolutely. I will definitely we'll definitely be there to tailgate. When do we not tailgate in Morgantown? Just let me know what section or what lot you guys are tailgating in, and I'll make sure I drop by. Again, let me get the tickers off here for a second so you guys can see my handle down at the bottom. Twitter icon. I know it's X now, but whatever. There's my Twitter X icon down there. That's my handle. I believe. Let me make sure that's right. It actually might be M Thornsberry. Oh, it's M Thornsberry. I don't know why I have M_Thornsberry. Let me fix that real quick. Inner banner. X is M Thornsberry. There we go. Let me throw that up there so I can block that. I don't know why in the world. All right. There's my X handle. Reach out to me on X or reach out to me on Facebook. My Facebook is there too on the left side, Matt Thornsberry. Add me up. Message me. Let me know where you guys are tailgating at. Let me know what your plans are. And I'll make sure to try to stop by and see you guys. Again, I love Iowa State fans. You guys are the best. Cycloneers. That's what we call you guys. So, again, thank you guys so much. It's been a 2-hour show tonight. That's because of you guys. Fantastic. Thank you so much for being in here. We had 60-plus people in here the whole time. Big 12 football. We love talking about it. This has been Matt's Big 12 Blitz. Again, this show is like Kuz was saying, this show is going to be on Wednesday nights. We've been trying to move it to Wednesday nights for the past 2 weeks. It just hasn't been happening. So we're going to keep trying to get it to Wednesday nights at the same time, 7 o'clock. Daniel said, NEW fan, their second team is Iowa State. Absolutely. It's been a partnership the last few years. And yeah, we enjoy playing Iowa State. We enjoy Iowa State fans. Always cheering them on when we're not playing them. So looking forward to it, my man. Thank you guys again. Hit that like button down at the bottom for us. We'll see you next week on Wednesday at 7 o'clock. This is Matt Thornsberry signing off on Matt's Big 12 Blitz. Thank you guys. We'll see you later.